Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com. And we are on here a little bit later than you're used to finding us. So if your phone is just now buzzing with the notice, it's not late. Go ahead, click on it. I'm telling you this like you can hear me before you click on it. It makes no sense. It's what I do. We are live tonight. We are going to get a little batshit crazy as we welcome our new guest tonight to crowdfund some more comics. This one's a Kickstarter called Guano Guy, and we have Mark Darden here, who's the creator behind this process. Mark, how are you doing tonight?
Doing very well, yeah.
So, anyone ever call you Tyler Durden?
Long ago.
Okay, because I started when I was writing the cards up, I started typing. I'm like, that's not right, and I had to go back to Mark Darden, not Tyler Durden.
Yeah,
that's like first rule of Guano Guy.
No, please tell everyone about.
We do talk about Guano Guy. Yes. Now, my Spanish is a little rusty.
Yeah,
but I think I remember guano being poop.
Yeah,
specifically bat poop.
Yeah. Because it started out straight up spoof when I did the early shorts. Because this comic started out as 2-3 page short stories, and so they were just really spoofing on Batman a lot. It's just it was a fun gag.
Yeah,
and it's weird to see something transitioned out of like just I'm making fun of Guano Guy, I'm making fun of Batman, so I'm going to call him Guano Guy instead. And then through these little stories, just a personality of his own starts developing where it's like, oh, Guano Guy would do this. Guano Guy would say this. And it just grew into longer stories. And now I'm doing full-length comics.
So where did these...
Kept the name.
Where did these shorts first appear then to get the popularity going on
them? So I started doing... I caught on to webcomics pretty early. So I was doing webcomics for the first couple of years and then decided I wanted to make a full-length issue. And then after the full-length issue, there was a lot of transitions in life. So it took years, actually, until I got back to it, just because there was just a lot going on. But it's been going real steady for the last few years as I've been working to rebuild it and hopefully bring the everybody back as well as add all the new people. So... yeah, it's been 3 issues. Had 2, one last year, and then this is my second issue this year, and they'll be in. I've already issue 4 is in the works for early 2021.
And what prompted you to go full length on this, and particularly go with the crowdfunding route? I mean, if you've got a character that people like, why not take it to shop it around to the people who already got a network in place for distribution?
Well, I mean, sometimes you work your way backwards. So when I had the full-length issue, I did go around to a lot of conventions and showed it to a lot of companies, and there were some where I would get a bite, like they reviewed it and looked it over, but I just I couldn't get it out there via that route. And so I was like, well, you gotta put more hustle in, get it out to the people on my own. And maybe if now it's with Terraform, so it took some work, but now I've got representation, got some help, and getting it out to folks, and we're gonna keep working to build it.
Well, let me pull up the Kickstarter here that this is on. Now you got a Kickstarter, and you also have an IGG for the older one that's in demand. Is that the model you're following? Is started on Kickstarter, go in demand on Indiegogo? Is that repeatable for every project, or?
Well, I've been doing this the 3rd Kickstarter, so I haven't done a lot with Indiegogo yet. But Terraform is trying them both, so we'll see what happens.
Because I initially looked there first, and I did find a Guano Guy, and I'm like, no, this isn't the one I copied. This is a different different one.
Yeah.
So I did find it on the Kickstarter here, and this is it. And since you do have a video, let's go ahead and take advantage of this. Do you have $1 for the Guano guy? Well, look at this too. 2182 out of 3,000. That is very close to goal. 11 days to go. $878. No. Do the math. Mrs. Drayton will be very unhappy with you.
818.
818. I was going to get there. $818 to go. We'll find out what people got to buy to make that happen. But first, let's check out Guano Guy's video.
Boom! The Guano Guy is back with issue number 3. Oh, I'm Mark Darden, and we're here with a 29-page full-color, comedy-filled, hilarity book. Been working all night getting the final touches together. Now, obviously, this really cool cover by Tony Fierro. Really fun cover by Ryan English. Colors coming. And we've got 5 different art teams with a variety of very fun, very colorful styles. This book is for kids and adults. It's just lots of fun. If you've been here before, you know what we're doing. But if you haven't, if you like the Tick, Darkwing Duck, maybe the Venture Brothers, the old Batman TV show, this is the book. This is the thing for you. It's going to be tons of fun. Please help us out. We just love making books and bringing some lighthearted entertainment to the world. I'm Mark Darden, and thank you very much for checking us out.
73% of gold. Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to tell you, I hope that you were able to hear that because I was kind of struggling to listen to the volume on that one. I don't know what was the deal there.
Oh yeah, and there's some fun short videos that I've produced. So those are some fun ones to watch where I've actually got sound effects in, and it's me reading in character voice. I'm reading the comics. I'm doing them. It's like I'm playing them.
Now, I think I heard that somebody else is doing the art on this.
So Alexander Unlin is the main story artist, and so he does the majority of the book. But I still do the short stories too. So you get the full length story that's the continuity story, but then we have these little short stories that are a lot of fun, and then those are handled by other artists. So we've got a bunch of people. Paulo Hernandez, he did one in. He did a couple in the last issue, and he did some work on the issue before that. And he's back with another Mr. Marvelous fan story, which he does really fun. And Morgan Walters has a story in there. I met a bunch of new artists through another project that I'm working on. So I was able to enlist a lot of people and get a lot of fun styles in there. So it's with 5 different stories, it's 5 different artists, plus colorist, and their artists too. So it's really like 8 or 9 artists on the book, and then the cover artist. That's a good 11 people I got to keep track of.
A lot of people to pay.
Yeah, it's that too. But that's okay. They did great work. If I can get the profits of the book up, I would pay them more, honestly.
Well, let's see what this is about here. The Guano Guy is shameless self-promoter who only saves people to get rich and famous. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. His rival, Mr. Marvelous Man, keeps accidentally one-upping the Guano Guy and getting all the fame and money, while reporter Rita Ratika uses both of them to make her media career. Oh, so she's like a Lois Lane who's after Superman and Booster Gold.
Except that she's really but she's I guess Lois Lane was pretty hardcore on just like, I'm here for my career.
Yeah.
So it is like that. Although Rita's it's coming very soon, like not this issue, but next issue. She's going to be doing a little more than just reporting on the stuff.
So there are a couple of lovable jerks, and you can follow all their adventures in the Guano Guy. And remember, if no one sees you save the day, did it really happen? So I'm definitely thinking Booster Gold on this one because he was always the opportunist.
He very much was. Yeah. I miss the old Booster Gold and Blue Beetle team ups. They were so great together.
Oh God, yes. Especially in the the Justice League when they were in the Bwahaha era.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. That was classic. So I mean, people talk about fighting fire with fire, which makes no sense because that just makes more fire. But we're fighting puppets with puppets. Like if you're a bad guy with puppets, Guano Guy, he's coming with his own puppets. And these puppets lovingly homage all of his lost sidekicks. And he has quite the the list of lost sidekicks.
I noticed he's a puppet himself in this.
Oh no, he's inside the stage.
He's pushing the stage there. The
Yeah.
way it cut off there, I thought he was like a tablecloth puppet.
Yeah, I could see how, but yeah, he's inside the stage puppeteering his attack puppets.
Oh man, that's going to happen in number 3 here. That's one of the shorts.
Yep, that's one of the things that happens in this one. We got puppets versus puppets. We got grown men in egg suits talking legal fees.
So when you say there's short stories, you're talking about the comic stories, right? Or are you talking about like text pages as well as comics?
No, I do mean comic stories. So there's artists working on all of those too. Yes, they're all told in comic format.
All right. We used to, back in the day, you'd finish a comic story and there'd be like a 1-page, 2-column text story of an adventure that was unusual. It was always the last thing you read, and usually after you read it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I could see that.
But they were.
Yeah. So I don't think I would do that, but maybe a children's book style format, like with a picture and then not too much text. That might be interesting.
So here we get into the tiers on this. Number 3, which is number 3 now. That means already done 2 of them, fulfilled them, funded them. This is a done deal. This one's probably going to fund as well. And this is the PDF bundle. So so
that one right there, they'd actually get the physical book, and the PDF set, so you could read up all the stories and then physically read number 3 when you got to it. So it's a good start.
It's a good way to catch up, find out who the character is, and then jump into the book you bought.
Mm-hmm.
And then the complete PDF set. Now, how does this different? They're both $15.
Yeah, well, you don't have to pay shipping on that.
That is a difference. That's something that you don't consider when you look at the price tag right away. But yeah, no shipping's cool. So for just the cost of shipping, you get the book itself. That's the deal. Yeah,
that's not bad. It's a good start.
It's a free book. You just pay the shipping when you buy the PDFs, guys.
Yeah.
When's the last time you bought a physical book that was
and for the PDFs?
Here's 1 through 3 print and the number 3 PDF copies.
Yep.
This is a $20 deal for 3 books. Now that's not bad either. That's a great.
And so issue number 2 was 40 pages. So that was actually a 44-page comic book. The current one's 32-page comic, and the first one's a 24. So it's actually quite a bit of pages.
Yeah, a lot of pages for $20.
Yeah,
I'm liking this cover to number 3 here too. This is it's very early '90s kind of style, '90s indie style. Like reminds you of the guys who were doing the Turtles and some of the other black and whites at the time. Not the Image guys, because he doesn't have his like Belticus trapezius muscle going across his. He doesn't have that 13th ab.
He does have a lot of pouches though.
He does have pouches, yes, I can see that. And he's got the boot treads.
Yeah, that was Tony Farrow. He did that one. So he was a very good artist. I saw his stuff and was like, let me see what he's up to.
It's definitely a variety of different styles because the one over on the left here is sort of a children's book cutout style. Mm-hmm. And then the one on the right, I'm not sure who that reminds me of, but it's definitely a different style. It's a cool looking style. It's more British comics kind of style. It looks to me.
Yeah, I got that one over from an artist in Spain.
Well, there you go. That's why.
So. I like looking all around, see what I can get.
He's going to go through a sequence of different looks and styles, which is cool to get in a rapid fire comic book.
Yeah, one thing I like about the Guano guy's costume is everybody draws it a little different. I'm like, that's fine. Like, he's a kit basher. He told he doesn't have to wear the exact same thing every day.
Exactly. It starts to smell, and you can't go quite con if you don't have multiple things of the same thing.
You don't need goggles every day.
No.
You're gonna keep track of exactly how many pouches you put on? Yeah.
You got to find out who the threat is, and you put on specifically those pouches that you're going to need for that guy. So we got here the complete print set. Now this is, again, different from 1 through 3. So there's more than just 1 through 3 of the print, right?
Right. So as numbered below, because I was doing short story issues. So there's issue 0, 1/2, 1.5, and 2.5. And that's like 100. I think there's 109 pages of story material there out of those 4. So that's pretty good. And those are all short stories. Although there's a couple of 12-page stories, so it gets close to not being quite so short, but still.
And 40
There's
bucks.
a lot of fun, ton of different artists. The original artist Ashby Udding is a couple of those, and then there was the interim artist did a couple, and then Alexander Underland, actually his first issue is issue 2.5. He did 3 short stories, and when he hit the 3rd one, I was like really wanting to keep working. We like really just matched up and liked each other's, like, you know, the style of writing and the style of art. It just was a good match.
I'm in the wrong area to scroll here. Now, Geek Girl, we've had the Geek Girl.
Sam Johnson.
Yes. So
Sam Johnson and I are friends via the wonderful internet. You know, it's nice because we live in different countries. But I was reading his book and then ended up getting Guano Guy into the book. So Guano Guy and Mr. Marvelous Man appear in the book, and that's why those issues are included, where if you really, really want all the appearances, there it is.
So he appeared in all 3 issues of this, or are these 3 covers of the same issue?
Oh, no, it's 3 different issues, and Guano Guy and Mr. Marvelous Man appeared in 2 of them, and then one of the Guano Guy's enemies appears in the 3rd one.
Are they like walk-ons, or are they like actually interactive?
They're actually pretty interactive. They were involved, but then they decided it wasn't for them.
So has Geek Girl shown up in any of the Guano Guy things?
Not yet. Still, I gotta schmooze old Sam a bit before I come across with that.
You know what? If Guano Guy is as you described, sort of like the pastiche of the Batman, and the more 60s kind of version, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not telling anybody how to write their comic book, but it would be kind of cool and a nice throwback if he's climbing up a wall and Geek Girl sticks her head out the window of the side of the skyscraper to say, "Hey, Guano Guy, why are you climbing up the side of my building?" Like they used to do. And because, you know, anybody living in a skyscraper could open their window outward and stick their head out. Makes perfect sense that you would do that.
Well, I love when they used to do that on the show, though, because the person would come out at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Because they're actually underneath the floor, and Adam West and Burt Ward are actually crawling across a floor, but pretending they're going up a wall.
Yep. So the guest actor's getting red in the face because they're doing a half sit up to try to stay.
Right, because they're just kind of laying in there. And I hope I didn't ruin that for anybody. It's been out for a while.
Spoiler alert. You know, they're not really going.
They were not actually climbing a wall.
Yeah, I used to when I learned that as a kid, I used to lay on my side and watch them. I'm like, they totally are going up the walking along the floor. Like, you can tell because the cape would be gravitationally drawn to the building instead of flapping behind them.
But did they not know to just clip, the cape and have somebody in the back holding the capes up, via a little thin wire and wave it?
Or, just blown a fan at them real hard. Make that
ways to get around these things. Anyway, these.
If Geek Girl shows up, you could do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's an option. And then this is I want it all.
There's one of these left, there was a bunch of variant covers for issue 2.5, and there's a variant cover for this one in the last issue, and so I've only got a few first prints left. So for issue 2.5, these are the last of the first. Plus, it comes with some prints and some stickers and a bookmark and a postcard and a whole bunch of things.
everybody loves stickers.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, there's more. We
Yeah.
had the add-on.
In case you wanted to add on those variant covers. Because so Ryan English, he's done 1, 2, 3 Guano Guy covers now, and he does the comic book The VGs. He's the artist for that, and he's a guy. Him and his writing partner Matthew, I met them like via Instagram and checked out their comic, and then went to a show where I'm setting up my table and look across, and there they are.
Oh,
and
cool.
so then we got to meet in person and start hanging out, and we ended up doing a panel together later, like a month later. I was on a panel with them, so it was cool.
God, you're making me miss conventions again. I miss doing panels and having my booth set up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what's worse is like, this was the year that, I had the new Destroyer book out, so I was ready to start pushing that, the Remo Williams stuff. I'm the writer on that one. And then we got our first actual book published. Well, it's the first book I could have sold. The other book is, we had another author do that. He can sell them in conventions when he can go. But we did The Devil You Know, which is our anthology, and it came out right before, a couple of months before the convention was supposed to be. And it was in October, and this was July. And they're like, we think we're going to have it. We hope we're going to have it. No, we're not going to have it. So.
Yeah.
It was just really disappointing.
I love this cover. I think Brian's done such a good job on the cover. So like this one where he's reading the book, but there was a kind of a running theme of like them opening the book, and it's it's like a Necronomicon kind of book. Like, oh no, everything in there is terrible. But then the other one, I mean,
Dead, right?
What's that? Yeah, yep, Book of the Dead. And then this other one with Mr. Marvelous Man just having a good old time at the theme park, completely oblivious to the robots in the background causing havoc. He's just, this is great. I love it here. Look at all the pretty colors.
And I won some prizes, and I got my cotton candy.
Yeah, I got my big Guano Guy plushie doll. So yeah, I do that when I read the video. So one of the ways that I write the characters' lines is I actually come up with their voice so that I can like do their lines in character voice to make sure that that way each character has a distinct way of speaking, so they don't just all sound like me. Like their actual words on the page are different. Yeah,
if you're gonna read a story, you got to do the voices. Come on.
It really does help. I know when I wrote the early ones, it was just me talking to me when I was writing dialogue. And I was like, oh, these characters can't all they're not the same person. So once I started creating voices for them, then I would get into their mindset and write their lines in their style.
Of course, I've done readings before. I had a short story done where it was basically the Destroyer meets a Batman-like character.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading it at a convention in one of those, the reading panels, the author reading panels that nobody shows up to, but you have to read anyway. Just somebody walks in. Like, okay, well, for the character who's Batman that I can't say he's Batman because, trademarks, I decided we'll just go Kevin Conroy the whole way.
Yeah.
And you get like 5 lines out of that, and you're like,
no, that's rough. Because Kevin Conroy is not, he's doing a little bit of a voice, but like his actual voice sounds similar to that.
Yeah. He didn't push it too far.
Right. Although if you were to do the Christian Bale version, it'd be really tough too.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. I got a sore throat just thinking of that. I'm like,
yeah.
First time he talked as Batman like that, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're on the fire escape talking to Commissioner Gordon, and you're doing this. Like, are you?
Yeah, there's a video where a comedian is as Batman, and he's doing that gag where like the other person's like, dude, it's just you and me here. Like, why are you still doing the voice? Like, it's like him and Robin is like, we're here in the Batcave, man. You just do your normal voice.
Yeah. It's like, I can't make a distinction between the two of them. Master Bruce, I'm asking if you wanted the fish or the steak. Oh.
Yeah.
So
when I'm in costume, I prefer you refer to me as Batman.
take off the damn cowl so you can talk right.
Hey, Bruce, do you want a drink? Who's Bruce? Only the Batman.
You'd have thought he had taken a tip from Green Arrow and put one of them throat synthesizers in there to disguise your voice that you quit using after the second season because you really want to be heard as Stephen Amell and the Flash and Grant Gustin. I just realized they threw those things away after 2 seasons.
Yeah. And it really is funny when like people who know the hero out of costume can't put it together. And it's like, there's no way. If you've been around somebody, like you might, depending on how observant you are, like you might recognize the similarity in the way they walk.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Their gait is the same. You're going to still notice some of the speaking mannerisms. They're probably going to use some of the same like key words that you've heard, like only this person says that very often. And you're like, huh, that's a interesting word you just used there. Cause I only know this one other person who uses that word. It's like, there's just no way if you know the person intimately and then you saw them in costume would be like, yeah, it's a totally different person.
Yep. It's worse, when it's just like a domino mask. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, come on, man.
I'll put on sunglasses, Bob.
Yeah, there's no chance that works. Even random people would be like, that reporter looks an awful lot like Superman. Yeah. I mean, I know he's got glasses and
slick my hair Superman. Back, talk a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part in Lois and Clark is when Tempest, the villain from the future, is like, I'm Clark Kent. No, I'm Superman. No, I'm Clark Kent. No, I'm Superman.
Seriously, like, oh, shoot. Hi.
Exact. Stand up a little straighter.
I liked Christopher Reed, though, because there was a scene where he's like Clark Kent, and then he's like, doo-doo. Yeah. And he like does like his body posture, how he's moving, it all changed. But he was awesome.
More than just the glasses.
Yeah, right. He really changed up his mannerisms and how he spoke and took away all the nervous tics.
So you're anyway PDF copies, not giving away. You're also selling PDF copies, adding PDF copies of Geek Girl.
Yes, absolutely. Because hey, I mean, if you're a lot of the foreign countries, we don't have the overseas distributing yet. So if you want to read and you don't want that pesky shipping charge, get all the PDFs. Get the Guano Guy PDFs and the Geek Girl PDFs. Get them all. Yeah,
we've really got to find a way to have multiple printers and distribution networks so that people in the U.S. can say, hey, I'm going to print in the U.S. and ship from the U.S. Unless you're in the U.K., in which case I've got a printer in the U.K. who's going to print files and he's going to distribute from there. The trick is that you can't trust them to distribute correctly. And I think that the person who's got a handle on this right now is going to be John Malin, who he's got his own books, of course, but he's starting a distribution thing where he's like, I know how to send out comic books domestically. And if we can get somebody who basically copies his paradigm in the UK and says, I also know how to ship comic books in your Gemini mailer and package everything up nice and I handle them responsibly, we might find a way to start getting around and circumvent all this high cost of shipping when there's an ocean involved.
Yeah, I mean, heck, even if you just had one friend in that country who also made comics and you're like, dude, I'll print and ship yours in the US if you'll print and ship mine in England, we'll just help each other out and see how it goes.
So you can even print the covers domestically and sign them if you were going to be doing like that, and then just ship the covers to the printer and say, these are the covers to bind to the pages that you're going to be putting out. And you'd ship one thing overseas. It would be expensive still, but shipping 300 covers is cheaper than shipping 20 books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in one package, obviously. You can also add on the variant cover.
Yeah, so Guano Guy and Mr. Marvelous Man made the cover of that one. They got on there with the folks.
I see that.
So that's a cool interpretation of Guano Guy. And actually, I really like this Mr. Marvelous Man, very punk rocker. Didn't bother to bring a shirt.
Nah.
I saw it and I was like, the artist didn't draw him with a shirt, but it's really cool. I better start not drawing him with it. Like I better like, hey, do him without a shirt.
Then Guano actually comment on it. Where's your shirt?
Yeah, but he's still rocking the big leather spiked shoulder guard.
So I guess I should ask what the power levels are on these guys, because I'm thinking Guano guy is just a guy in a suit, since he's parody of Batman of a sort.
Yeah, he's a in good shape guy in a suit who does have some gadgetry that he occasionally manages to employ. We have one story where he's got so much gear on him. So this was one of the ones where I'm like definitely spoofing. He has all the gear that you've seen like some heroes have, but at real size that it would have to be. Okay. So literally just falls off the roof because there's no way you can carry all that gear. And then there's another short story where he has all the gear, but he has it down at the tiny size that you'd have to have it at to have it. But then it's too impractical. Like he's trying to throw these little daggers, and like he throws the little gas pit tablets, but it makes a cloud that's only a foot off the ground, so it doesn't do anything.
Like snapping pops.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mr. Marvel's man, he's pretty powerful. His problem though is that he spent his childhood in a box, so he's a full-grown adult, but not when it comes to actual practical world experience. So that's why he's very childish.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of like Captain Marvel that way.
It's just, yeah, right.
The real Captain Marvel, not the
yeah,
Marvel.
Not, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you don't get to put the name of your character on the front of your book when you already had it established. Like I don't get the legality of being able to go in and like, wait a minute, they haven't actually copyrighted that. We're gonna snake it. Yeah, but we already put out 100 issues.
They had the registered trademark at one point, but I think somebody let it lapse. And
yeah.
I covered that a long time ago with who was it? Bob Ingersoll. He is a lawyer. He used to write a column for the CBG called "The Law of the Ass," and all it was taking a scene from a comic book, often Daredevil, because they were a great legal situation, and then just run out the legal ramifications of it. If a character was on trial, he's like, okay, here's how it would go. Batman commits assault. Here's how it would go.
Oh, Batman would be in so much trouble.
I know, absolutely. But
then, of course, the police would be in a lot of trouble too. Like, wait, are you saying you saw him beat the man, but you didn't arrest him? Well, he had to go solve a case.
Yeah.
You let an outside civilian go solve your case for you?
We actually called him in. But you know what? There's plenty of shows now that are, we call in our special consultant.
Yeah.
Prodigal Son, just finished reviewing it. He's not he's just a profiler who's independent, and they call him in to consult. And how many times does he chase the guy down and catch him and beat him and shoot him?
Yeah, right. It is true that people can get called in for informational purposes, but once it's game time, they got to go to the background.
Let the boys in blue do their job now.
Yeah. When they call the SWAT team in, that guy doesn't like, yeah, I got a vest, let's do it. They're like, no. The SWAT team's actually they're gonna do things. Thanks for leading us here, though. Good job.
But I talked with Bob about copyright and trademark issues to get the difference on what they actually meant, and it boiled down to basically, if you were going to have a logo and have it on the front of a book, then you have a trademark that you want to establish. Mm-hmm. Which was why, which was why Shazam had the Captain Marvel for a while, and then when they let it lapse, when DC was buying it from Fawcett, and they didn't call their book Captain Marvel, they called it Shazam. Marvel was like, "Hello, we have a character called Captain Marvel. We should trademark that," and they've never let it go because they're not stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can have multiple characters of the same name, as long as you're not going to market them on a product with that name. So you know, they all have a Sandman. DC's got a couple of Sandmans, and Marvel's got a Sandman. Technically, DC could have a book called, you know, Amazing Arachnid Tales, starring the Spider-Man, and not have anything happen to them. There'd be threats of lawsuits. It would go through court, but after spending
he's a man spider, not a Spider-Man. He's a man spider.
He's a spider who got bitten by a radioactive man.
Man, yeah.
And now he has all the abilities of a man, but he's spider-sized. he can drive a car. He can do taxes. You just can't pick the pencil up.
And he can do them at the same time because he's got all those extra legs to work with.
But it was interesting. During that time, I discovered that the very first Sabretooth was actually a villain in the Flash comics. So Marvel didn't have the, but you know, Marvel probably had the first Sabretooth book, obviously, so they trademarked it. And Flash never come back.
It was funny that when Captain Marvel the movie came out, Shazam came out same time. Yeah. One of those movies was a lot of fun to watch.
And the other one was really boring.
Not going to say which one, but one of them was a lot of fun.
One of them was boring, except in the places where Samuel L. Jackson was.
I'm not going to say which movie Samuel was in. You got to figure that out for yourself.
Absolutely. The only problem I had with the Shazam film was that I thought make sure I say it right, Zach Braff, his character was more of a kid than the kid's character was as a kid. Like, did you guys talk to each other? Because you got a 14-year-old here who's acting like he's 16 and tough, and now you got a 30-year-old who's acting like he's 11.
Yeah. Well, once he was powerful, he felt so much more relaxed. So it was like the kid's like, it's a cold world out there. My mom abandoned me. I've been living on the streets. And then he turns into the Shazam. It's like, woo, yeah, that's good. Lightning from my hands.
Oh, man. Your phone is charged and your phone is charged.
Whoops.
So, going further down, what's Guano Guy got himself into now? So now we're talking about issue number 3 story.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fun one. We have 2 very ridiculous villains for him to meet. This is Mr. Puppet Master. He is an angry puppeteer. He used to make puppets for the Auto City amusement park, and he got fired, and they kept all his stuff, and he didn't like how they were doing it. So he's back for revenge.
I like how he's got a stage built around him. Do park puppeteers do that? I've not seen a show like that.
It was just an idea that I had, and I floated it to Alexander, and he came back with a glorious model. And it actually was over. Originally, the battle between them was, I would say it was dull. I think I hadn't done a good enough job, so Alexander and I started texting ideas back and forth between each other, and then it was like, oh, puppet on puppet war. That's what's got to happen.
Absolutely.
And it totally made a way, way better opening scene. And I love that Alexander added these awesome guano pouches around his stage.
Yes. The puppets will be the ones who dig them out, though.
So great.
And like you said, it's all his deceased sidekicks.
No, I didn't say they're deceased.
Former.
They're all still alive. Some of them are very angry about having been left behind in traps. One of them didn't catch the flagpole when they were swinging through the city.
That hurts.
Yeah, one of them got used as there in one of the short stories. Guano Guy, this is very James Bondish, but Guano Guy and his sidekick, Guano Boy, were being lowered down into the shark tank. So Guano Guy sprayed Guano Boy with flavor spray so the sharks would go after. It was chum bait spray so that he would smell like chum.
Well, that's what Batman always called Robin, was chum. So.
Yeah, old chum, yes.
Yes.
Old chum bait. Actually, I think that line was used in the comic.
Would you please not call me chum Batman while we're going after the sharks? Appreciate it, thanks.
Yeah, I had one where the Guano Boy, one of the Guano Boys was like, Guano guy, you got that escape plan yet? And Guano guy's already running. Yep, the plan's in full effect.
This kind of reminds me of the Tick.
Oh, yeah.
The Tick never runs. He runs into trouble.
Yeah. No, that would be another good crossover. But I, it's going to be a while till I think I could pull that one off. But yeah, I love the Tick. That's such a good one. The cartoon was great. I liked the live action, the original live action.
You know what? None of it ever topped, though, the first 10 issues of the original series.
No, those were so good. And that's, it's by the creator. It's
Ben Edlund. It was awesome stuff. The city. My city.
City, USA.
Board. No unnecessary electric shock therapy treatments. Now, okay, so here's a guy dressed as an egg.
Yeah. So these are park mascots, and when Mr. Puppet Master is terrorizing the park and beating up on the patrons, these mascots are not upset at all. They are like, oh yeah, finally those kids are getting what they deserve. So they're actually applauding his terrible actions.
They're just a couple of rotten eggs. It's not nice.
Well, you get hit in the groin by kids regularly.
Those must be soft-shelled egg suits that they're in. We have a collector there who had collected some very famous lions. Is that the Cowardly Lion in the middle?
The Cowardly Lion? That'd be the Cowardly Lion over on the left there.
Oh, I see him. Okay. I thought it's small on my tiny little laptop screen, so I thought I saw like a bow in his hair on the middle one.
Oh, no, that's a crown.
Oh, okay.
He's a king.
He's got the Cowardly Lion and Aslan and a library lion here. Looks like.
That's the prince. He's the he's the prim and proper.
And he's brought them to a farmhouse in Baghdad.
It's a very eccentric mansion. The billionaire who had this house built likes a whole lot of different things, so he had all of them incorporated into his mansion. Very
cool. It's just like, I want an Arabian Nights turret next to my greenhouse built onto the Tudor.
Yep. Let me get it some actual castle part over there, and
got an Andrew Lloyd. Yeah, you got the famous architect guy with the glass enclosure room sticking off the side here. Frank Lloyd Wright. There we go. It was Lloyd somebody. Lloyd Llewellyn, for all I know. Another old comic book. Right? No one's going to get that reference at all. Oh. and then we got
the Lloyd Webber, but
Mr. Marvelous Man. Here, and
he's got a couple short stories, because while all that action's going on at the park, he just flies over. But this story kind of explains why he doesn't help out.
Because he's having fun. He's oblivious. Well, I can see him, calling down.
I love the image of the puppet that's just choking the guy out.
Yeah.
It's so wonderfully cartoony and just opposed to Mr. Marvelous Man, who just is obliviously having a great time. It's not that he's not purposely ignoring you. He just doesn't notice.
I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
Now, does Guano guy ever
help? And he's like, yeah, I love you.
Have you ever explored Guano guy's origin? I mean, is it a guy sitting in his chair somewhere saying, "There's got to be a way for me to make a buck"?
Well, let's see.
Splat. That's it. I shall become Guano. Oh, we got something we're going to show on a solo layout here. The screen's all yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. That was a short little break there for me. I have not yet done Guano guy's origin. I've written a version, but I think it's I don't know. We're moving forward with the future, and I don't know if we'll ever do the origin.
He doesn't really
I know
need
we'll
one.
see him with the mask off. Yeah.
Oh, just like the Tick. You never see him with the mask off.
The Tick wears a mask?
This is my face. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you'll see like Guano guy in the tub scrubbing up with his mask on, playing with rubber duckies and
Oh,
such.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been in front of the mirror talking to himself, still wearing the mask. You know, he's been in a bathrobe, still has can't take that
Very
thing
cool.
off. I mean, he is the Guano guy. That's who he is.
He wouldn't be Guano guy without it. So you've got 11 days to go. And
11
we're
days.
picking time for the day when, okay, so 7 o'clock, here's a hit. 7 o'clock my time, Ethan Van Sciver's not online. After that, the crowd goes somewhere else. Not that they come here, but some of them will come here. So I'm a little, they catch the replay. Everyone comes in for the replays on this. So I want to remind you, if you're here for the replay, go down to the bottom. There is a link that will take you to the Kickstarter for Guano Guy. And honestly, for the price of the main thing here, if you just want to get the comic book, $15 is not a bad deal. But go ahead and get all three of them for the $20, because you're going to get three books, 3 PDFs, $20 plus shipping. You're not going to get a deal like that in most crowdfunded books. They're both. If you get a book for under $40 for a single issue, you're lucky. And this is 40 pages, 30 some odd pages, 20 some odd pages. That's a lot of pages for the $20 plus shipping. The shipping's domestic, so it's not like a huge amount, unless you're overseas, in which case bend over. We can't help that. That's the shipping companies doing that to you.
Yes. Yeah, we still got 11 days, so it's a fun, funny book. Please let me entertain you.
Is this goal consistent with the previous goals you had? I mean, you got a $3,000 goal on here, 52 backers. Is that sort of what you had before?
No. I got, since with Terraform, we're really shooting to do more this time, and just hopefully we can get there.
It's still 818.
18.
818. 818. It's almost like the Marvel Universe, except a couple doors down. It's not the 616. It's the 818. It looks like a real fun book here. I would recommend people get in on this one. We could use some more of this Mad Magazine style. The Tick. It's the best way to describe it. It's the Tick, but as Batman.
The Tick is Batman. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like, if you're like a Deadpool or Harley Quinn fan, except for like the massive violence, like this is a lot of fun. We're much more old school Batman style violence, like very slapsticky, very silly.
If you don't consider, puppet choking. Oh wait, there was more down here. How did this come?
Oh yeah, there was a bunch more examples of the kind of art of the art you're getting in there. So yeah.
I thought I hit the end of it there. Zombie Life Part 2. So we got some line.
Part 1 was in issue 2. Oh yeah. There's a cows for humans exchange. Zombies are trying to get some food.
Okay, and they won't eat beef. So
yeah, no, you can't eat cow brains. Those are different brains. Those don't work.
You get mad cow disease eating cow brains. Come on. And the cows are put to work making costumes for superheroes.
We got very industrious cows in this story.
I like it. Again, Ben Edlund's The Tick. Call back to the man-eating cow who got his own book.
He did, yep, along with the samurai.
Yep. And then
we're sending bears into space. They're still trying to figure out what to wear when they go to space.
Now, these are not Guano Guy stories, but there are stories in the Guano Guy book. Is this?
Yeah, depending on the story, they're loosely connected. Like the Zombie Life story, Rita Ratika's reporting on it.
Okay.
The bears in in the last Guano Guy comic, there was a cartoon rabbit that's the host of a kids show. So the bears going to space is an episode of his show. So it's kind of keeps expanding.
This is a this is a very different style. You've got so many styles going on in this book. Thankfully, they're all different stories.
Yeah, right. It won't be confusing. I think it works well. I mean, I love, like, as you go through this book, you're gonna just get to see like gorgeous art by several different artists doing really awesome stuff, and each of their styles really fits the story. It works. And Morgan Walters, I love the style. It's so pretty, so expressive.
And they look like teddy bears. They look fuzzy and soft, and the pastels kind of add to that.
Yeah, it worked really good. And then we got this really silly old school. This is a great one. Like a threat writing agency is perfect because not every superhero can be witty. But I mean, you don't want to get one upped by the bad guy. So, pay a fee and get someone to write your quips for you.
I love that idea. I need that idea.
I mean, can you imagine if you were a kid on the playground and a bully said something and you just like, and you come back at him with something way better, but it's because, hey, $20 a month.
I paid a guy. He's in my ear. Yeah. You got the guy who they tried to get a job there and they fired him because he was the oh yeah guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's not original. You use that with everything. You can't use it with everything.
I'm sorry, Gil. We're just gonna have to let you go. It was a classic the first time, but
yeah, right. But it just works for everything, but not that well.
All right, and here you've got a very diverse team, widespread around the world. Alexander Enlund's in Sweden. How did I say Maya Opashik? Maya Opachik. Yugoslavia. Okay, I did say Opachik then. I got that one correct. All these formally trained people who are doing art. Tom Adamos.
Yeah, he helped out with the colors.
Paulo Hernandez.
Did the Mr. Marvel's fan show. He's been involved in the last 3 issues, doing backups.
All right. Morgan Walters, upstate New York. Oh, come on, man. That's not classy.
Morgan actually lives near me. It's a few hours away from where I am here in
we need more of that Eastern European exoticness. Come on.
Yeah.
So he worked on something at age 10. I love that. Did a comic book series. Speaking of young writers and artists, I hear one.
Oh yeah, yeah, in the background. Life keeps going.
Absolutely.
There's a Pink Floyd track that I really like. Well, David Gilmour track, and he was just doing the when he was trying to get in the song down at home. There was life still happening around him and like baby sounds and moving around. And then when we went to the studio to do the track, it was like, no, it was such a sentimental track. It was so much better with the real stuff going on. So he ended up using that home studio version.
Yeah.
Kept those live noises in there.
That's awesome stuff. And I love hearing those stories about the music too. It's like, my friend was a big Beatles fan. He's like, no, you've got to turn the volume all the way up at the end of this song when they're holding the note out, because if you have a really good stereo system, you can hear the air conditioner unit at Abbey Road Studio. Like, okay, but it's got to be on vinyl because it doesn't get picked up it gets cleaned up in the digital.
Yeah. In the middle when that guy's like, "Who wants tacos?" That's just some guy that showed up.
Exactly. Tony Farrow, Draw Weird Monsters, Underground Comics.
Yep. And he did that cover that was so awesome, the Cosmic Guano cover. It's fantastic.
Jason Barron's did
the zombie
yearbook here, which just keeps going on and on and on.
It's a lot of artists, like I said. This is the issue where I had to keep a list. We're like, okay, this person.
You've got like $20 page rates or something to be able to afford this.
Oh, I wish. No. No. Like I said, I'd pay him more if I could.
Well, that's the thing. You've got all these artists working for you, but the project is yours. You're the writer, and you're the guy who's got to fund it all. And what writers don't realize if they want to fund a comic coming into it cold is that if you're not an artist yourself, or you're not partnered with an artist who is in with you on this, you got to spend the money first and pay the artist to do the art so that you have something to show on your crowdfunding page.
Yeah.
So that people will want to buy it. And if they don't want to buy it after that, you don't get your money back.
Well, I look at it like, my parents owned a boat, and that cost them money every month easily. So yeah, this is my boat.
It's your boat. Exactly. Hey, we have BAP2 is in the chat. BAP, we're running late tonight. BAP always shows up at our 7 o'clock Central streams. Always glad to have him here. We're talking Guano Guy, which is, if you like the Tick, that's kind of like Guano Guy. Guano Guy is a riff on Batman. He's a guy with gadgets, and he does things a little bit differently than Batman would.
He's saving people for fame. He's stopping crime, not because it's the right thing to do, but because he wants to be famous.
Exactly. And I think the thing that sells Guano Guy for me is going to be consistently fighting the puppet master with puppets.
Yeah, right. Fighting puppets with puppets.
Like, my foe uses puppets. We shall fight him with puppets. Yeah. And I don't know how he talks, but I imagine he talks like the Tick. So, I'm just loving this. $20 plus shipping gets you 1, 2, and 3 plus the PDFs. This one's a no-brainer. You got a 40-page, a 33-page, 32-page.
Yep.
And this one's in the 20s. So you're getting more pages as you go along here. You're gonna, work your way up to that 80-page giant.
Yeah. Who knows what the next one will be like? Because that's another thing that's interesting about it, like an indie comic. I don't know exactly how many pages it's going to be. Like next year when the next issue comes out, it's like how many stories did we get together by then? It's a surprise.
If you ever get 80 pages, you've got to tell your cover artist he's got to duplicate the format of those DC giant 80-page ones where they got the borders down the side and all the things are looking up and stuff.
Oh yeah. Or I would like to do a wraparound at some point. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, have somebody else do a wraparound.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, I'm a writer myself, but if I were to do my own covers, they would look like stick figures. And not really very good ones. They'd be, no straight line sticks anywhere in there. So still $818 to go. But it's only $818. You're 73% there. This was a 30-day campaign, or was this a 60-day campaign? I forget how Kickstarter. 30 days. Yeah, you're over 2/3 the way there with, less than 1/3 of the way to go. You're fine.
Yeah, Bap, we do have a $1 level. Still get your name in the book, and I send you a sample PDF. Nice little fun 12-page story. So even $1,
even
helps.
Which was sort of the and I've got to refresh it to see that. The banner. Do you have $1 for the Guano Guy?
Do you have $1 for the Guano Guy?
And I love this little. I know who does this style, but I can't remember his name. It's one of the older cartoons. Again, yet another style of Guano Guy artwork, and it always seems to work.
Yeah, it really does. There's more styles in the book than you've seen so far, and it works. Just let the artist do their thing.
Now that's the truth. I mean, pick an artist that you like their style, but then don't look over their shoulder the whole time that they're doing.
Yeah, no, it can't be like, well, no, you got to draw them like it. No.
Yeah. I had first book I ever did was an Alice in Wonderland book, and it was going to be illustrated, and it was like that. It got purchased by a publisher, and I was like, yes, I'm an author now. This is real. This is this is legitimate. And they said, okay, here's your illustrator. This is her style. I'm like, I love it. I've got an illustrator. And the one scene that she drew a page of late in the book, I was like, this is beautiful. I love this. This is not what's happening on the page.
Oh.
Because I had the Mad Hatter and the March Hare. And the Mad Hatter was at the stove cooking something while the March Hare sat at the table. Well, the Mad Hatter was sitting at the table with, his hands in his chin in his hands like this and his huge hat on him. And I was like, guys, I'm like, oh, we'll have a redraw it. I'm like, no, that's way too much work to redraw something. That would take forever. It's much easier for me to just say, he's cooking and he's sitting at the table. I'll change the story for this beautiful artwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't imagine getting artwork from somebody here. Say, okay, I got the page done. I worked all night on it. And you look at it and you're like, I really didn't expect that. I would be the guy changing my story all the time to match the art. I'd be doing Marvel style. Like, look, just make them fight, and then I'll throw dialogue in.
Yeah, even in small stuff, I react to the artist a lot, and I like to do it because, I send something hoping they're going to be inspired, and when I get back, I want to look at their stuff and be like, oh, no, he says something totally different now, because I'll see like the facial expressions or just how the artist is playing it out and be like, okay, here's a better line than what I had before.
Absolutely. It's an evolving process until you're done with it. Eventually, you've got to take hands off. You ever have a problem doing that? I mean, you're like, not getting that last week in and saying, okay, I'm done. Don't touch it anymore.
Yeah. It goes to the printer and like, oh, I should have.
Well. Yeah, it's better to have it come back from the printer and think you should have than to have it come back from the printer and say, oh, damn, I meant to. Because I needed to, and now it's printed.
Well, it'd be hilarious to take like hundreds of copies and have a little Post-it in every one of them. Post over the line.
or even better, just like, draw a different character on it and stick it over the character that's on it so that it incorporates into the scene. It was supposed to be this guy. Here he is.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if somebody paid to be drawn into the comic?
And they were the Post-it notes.
And they get their copy.
That would be the way to do it.
It had already gone to the printer.
It had already gone to the printer, but the good news is that this one guy here that we're covering is everybody. We just drew everybody on a stack of Post-it notes and
we did take a copy into each one. It's in there.
Yeah. You could always, literally draw them in there. Not even on a Post-it note. Just get your pen out and draw the guy into the scene.
Yeah.
Get a magic marker and just color him in.
Personalized.
Very personalized.
Or if you had like a reflective sticker, like, no, see there, you're in the comic.
Exactly, like color forms. I've seen some people do the "this is your comic and your comic alone" thing as a tier, and I don't know how they were able to afford that, but it was like, you get it was the cover. The interiors are still the same, but there was only one cover printed like this to your specification, and it's your book.
Yeah.
That seems to be an insane. Can I imagine the setup on that's got to be just difficult.
Maybe they just went to a different place to get that one cover printed, and then they took the time to take out the staples and put the new cover on. And
that would work. Yeah.
Because people make comics at home. There are definitely folks making their own zines at home. So maybe your buddy does it. And
maybe they do. I couldn't understand. I don't even know what crowdfunding it was. It was months ago that we were talking about that, and I thought it was crazy, but cool. All right, so Mark, we've managed to fill the hour here talking about Guano and Guano Guy.
How often do you fill an hour talking about Guano? I mean, that's
not too often. I've filled things with Guano before, but never an hour. I remember my grade school gymnasium. The grade school I went to, this was 1975, mid to late 70s. And it was built in like the 1920s, I'm guessing. Big brick building. And the gymnasium, the ceiling was sagging. Well, the reason the ceiling was sagging was not because of water leakage. it was sagging because bats had taken up residence in the attic over the gym, and it collapsed on top of a bleacher, and there was a big old sploosh of nasty stuff. And it was not unusual to find a bat flying around in the school or lodged up in the corner somewhere. And I was, from kindergarten on, I was always playing the Adam West Batman from television. That's just what I did. Recess, I'm Batman. I got beat up a lot. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's my one and only experience with guano is being very near to where it fell onto the bleachers.
Okay. Oh, good. You
Totally
avoided
it. I avoided it. I did not get hit with the guano fallout. But get hit with this guano guy, and put $20 towards this one. Get this thing funded. It doesn't have that far to go, and it's going to be a fun comic book. I mean, it's not going to be this. It's not going to be this intense, dramatic action thing where you've got to get 20 pages into it to know who everybody is. It reminds me a lot of Mad Magazine kind of superhero style. They did Captain Clutch. You didn't have to know who everybody was. They were just background people, and he's fighting stuff, and stuff happens to him. So Mark, best of luck with this. I think you're going to make it, and we appreciate you being on the show. And with that, we're just going to close things out, and we will be back tomorrow with, I have no idea. I got a big old blank spot in the schedule. So if you're a comic book crowdfunder, hit our DMs at criticalblast.com. Oh, and I'm supposed to always remind people that we do. You do stickers, right? You got stickers.
Oh yeah,
okay. Well, we got these shiny holographic.
Nice
3 inches wide, and we give them away for free if you just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Critical Blast at 1097 Prestwick Drive, Belleville, Illinois 62221. Go ahead, dox me. I dare you. I beat you to it. And we will throw 2 of these in the envelope back to you, and you can give one to a friend or keep them both for yourself. We don't care. They're your stickers. Do what you want. So if you want to come on here and push your crowdfunder comic, hit us up on Twitter at Critical Blast, and we will be happy to schedule you. We do have the LCS guys coming up this Saturday at 7 p.m. Central with special guest Bill Willingham. And then next Tuesday, we have the cast and crew for Monster Force Zero, an independent movie about some cosplayers whose cosplay come with actual powers when they put it on. So until then, enjoy your comics and go out there and back Guano Guy.
Hi, thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.